My Reason Why.
This message presented by the NFHS and the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
At Dakota Discount RV, we're in it for the long haul, just like you. Whether it's cross-country adventures, weekends by the lake, or family time under the stars, we're here to keep you rolling for years to come. While others are packing up, we're doubling down with dependable service, great prices, and the biggest selection in the region. Your journey doesn't stop here, and neither do we. Here tomorrow, here for every mile ahead. Visit us in Rapid City or Somerset or online at dakotadiscountrv.com.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence, go with trust, go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
In the NFL today, the Jets acquired quarterback Geno Smith in a trade with the Raiders, bringing Smith back to the team that drafted him in the second round of the 2013 draft. Jets and Raiders also swapped late-round picks to make the deal. The Patriots and former Packers wide receiver Romeo Doubs agreed to terms on a 4-year deal worth $68 million. Former Packers center Elton Jenkins is signing on a 2-year deal with the Cleveland Browns. The Lions signed running back Isaiah Pacheco to a 1-year contract. Tight end Dawson Knox heads back to the Bills on a 3-year deal. College basketball, ACC tournament first-round play. SMU leads Syracuse 64-48 as the teams play midway through the second half in that ACC first-round game. Stanford's on the bubble. They lost to Pitt earlier today, 64-63. Duke guard Caleb Foster out indefinitely with a fracture in his foot. Cincinnati topped Utah in the Big 12, 73-66. Arizona State the win over Baylor, 83-79. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Let's get ready to roll on a Tuesday. Great guest lineup. We are out of the gate, ready to go. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Welcome in. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Hope you're having a solid Tuesday. The Nate Brown Show is back. Fox Sports Radio affiliates KWSN Sioux Falls. Welcome in. Fox Sports Rapid City. Here we go. 2 hours. Thought-provoking sports talk for South Dakota. Some great guests across the board. High school, college, pros. We got you covered with A-listers tonight. A-listers. The Nate Brown Show is streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch us live on X at Nate Brown Show. If you can't catch all 2 hours on the radio side, you're driving, you're going here and there. You can catch us on X anytime at Nate Brown Show. Also YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. You've got to subscribe to the channel if you would. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. And finally, Midwest Sports Plus, the new high school sports app. They'll be covering games tonight. Sodak 16 action, Class A, Class B boys. Sodak 16 on Midwest Sports Plus, and this show live right now. Welcome in on a Tuesday. Let's make it count. Offer up some good stuff for you tonight. Look at the guest lineup as we have on tap. Aaron Johnston's in. Coach AJ's on tonight. South Dakota State head women's basketball coach. 13 appearances in the NCAA tournament. 4 straight Summit League titles. I think people were starting to doubt SDSU women a little bit. lost to NDSU, lost to USD, and then they bounced back in this last month, really turned the corner. Aaron Johnston's in tonight, head coach for the Jackrabbit women. What type of seed are they looking at as the tournament field approaches? Mike Golick Jr. is on tonight, national college football analyst and host of Golick and Golick with his dad on FanDuel Sports Network. Mike Golick Jr. talking ball tonight. Adam Dannon brings the Stevens girls head coach. AA girls tournament starts on Thursday at the Monument in Rapid City. Stevens back to the state AA for the 13th straight year. Adam Denenbring, head coach, Rapid City Stevens girls. Can they get in the mix at the AA? And we'll go to Minneapolis tonight. Thor Nystrom's on talking Vikings and more. You're just waiting, aren't you? To wait. You're waiting, Vikings fans, for Kyler Murray. I'm waiting. You're waiting. Thor Nystrom is waiting in the wings tonight. Score North, Vikings analyst. We'll talk some draft. Thor's one of the NFL draft guys as well. Thor Nystrom on from Score North. Minneapolis tonight. Tuesday lineup looks good. Golick Jr., AJ, Thor, Danenbring. We're on tonight. Let's get you on 605-720-1067. If you want to join us, you don't have anything going, right? 605-720-1067. The Pizza Ranch studio hotline for you, powered by the Pizza Ranch. Stop by the best buffet in town at Brandon location and also East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. You find the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet, locally owned and operated. Let's get you on the text line if you want as well. 605-720-1067. That's how you text the show. We read those as they come in, answer the question of the day, and all that fun stuff. Win a free buffet to the Pizza Ranch tonight. Why not? Setting you up with buffets courtesy of our partners at the Pizza Ranch. So 605-720-1067. That's the Barron's Wilson text line for your comments and question of the day answers. Hey, let me go to something really quick because we did a poll yesterday, and we don't get the final results until well after the show's over. We start seeing stuff come in, but we don't see the final results, and I think this is important, and maybe you missed yesterday's show. Maybe you didn't catch the second hour, which we talked about this a little bit. So it's tournament time in South Dakota, and I thought, let's throw it out to the audience. Now, our polls are not the end-all, be-all, okay? That's just unscientific Twitter polls. So everybody and their mother can vote here and fake accounts. There's quite a few fake rage-baiting accounts out there. I don't know where they're coming from, but this is a Twitter poll that we threw out yesterday when it comes to South Dakota high school basketball and tournament time and postseason. How do we make sure we get things right when it comes to postseason basketball in South Dakota? Do we need to get things right? For sure. And this all came from a matchup with Ipswich and Gettysburg. If you didn't hear about this, I saw Kelloland even did a story on this. Hey, Kelloland, did you get this story from our guy Matt Kearney? I want to know where you... Anyway, so Kelloland, when it hits Kelloland, it's big time. So this game was Ipswich and Gettysburg, boys basketball, to get into the Sodak 16, and a shot was made at the end. It was late. The buzzer had gone off. The backboard had lit up. It was late. They counted it. And now this has turned into the Activities Association reacting to this and saying that they do appreciate Gettysburg, the community and the school community saying, you know, their reaction of, you know, they're going to move forward here and nobody's contesting this or doing anything crazy. But Ipswich wins it on a shot that shouldn't have been counted. If you had instant replay like you do at state tournaments, then you could have changed it. So the Activities Association is actually saying they're going to look at instant replay for sub-state contests. They're not saying they're going to implement that. They're just going to discuss it. So the schools have to put this stuff in play. They're the ones that are going to have to vote on stuff like this if this goes further. So I did throw out the question of the day yesterday. And I said for sub-state postseason contests, so this would be to get into the Sodak 16 like Ipswich, the Ipswich boys. They won on this shot. They're in the Sodak 16 tonight, by the way. So Ipswich is in. If you had instant replay like you do in the state tournament, they wouldn't have been. It would have went to overtime. Who knows what happens? Would you want replay from the Activities Association? Let's say they discuss this. They bring this up now. If you're at the schools, do you want to implement instant replay review for sub-state contests? I'm not talking regular season. I'm talking postseason where you're one and done. If you win, you go. If you lose, you're out. Do you want instant replay to be utilized for end-of-game scenarios? And I threw it out. So if you haven't answered that question of the day on the text line, I'd like you to get in tonight. Where would you want instant replay to go? How far would you go with South Dakota high school basketball? Just keep it to the state tournaments? That's where we do it now. Only state tournaments. We try and see who gets it right at the end. If we miss a shot, did we make a shot? Did we count it? Did we not? We review that at state tournaments. That was implemented, but not now to get to the state tournament, to get through the postseason. Would you utilize instant replay? The Twitter poll said, okay, so the Activities Association is going to discuss this, and then they're going to look at the Nate Brown Show Twitter poll, and they're going to say, oh, everybody wants this, everybody. 73% of you on Twitter voted, yes, I want instant replay even for sub-state contests for South Dakota high school basketball. So 73% of you vote if the school has a live stream that you can access, that you would want instant replay to be utilized for that. I'm not too surprised by it because our natural reaction is, well, if we can get it right, why not get it right? That's just the natural statement. I mean, I hear that all the time, whether it's pros or anything. Baseball, balls and strikes, and we want the challenge system, all that stuff. I understand that. It's easier said than done is the problem. I have a former AD who just responded to this question of the day, and I wanted to bring this into the show tonight. Former athletic director in South Dakota. He said, not all schools have the same streaming. Most schools aren't set up to do instant replay in slow motion. It's not as easy as just having streaming. It's costly. And that's what schools look at. Okay? He said, remember the fights over the shot clock. Remember the fights. Took a long time even for the shot clock to get into Class A and B. Double A put it in first, the big schools. You remember this in South Dakota? The cost, somebody to run it, the whole thing. Double A went with it, and then we finally got it in all classes. But there was some arguments like, well, Class B, do we want it, this and that? I believe in consistency. So I don't know if you could have enough consistency at schools here in South Dakota to have the right streaming to do the right instant replay, and then that's when you run into a big problem. So I think the Activities Association is just reacting to this Ipswich win the other night. They win off of a shot that shouldn't have counted. They say, well, we'll discuss if we can maybe advance instant replay to some sub-state contests. I don't think it's going to go very far, guys. I'm just being honest with you. I don't think schools are going to say, it's a one-off. Ipswich won. Sorry. Gettysburg, thanks for playing. Hope it doesn't happen again. We don't know if we can have good streaming at this school. And then the schools, they're going to say, well, we don't have somebody to run our stream. And we don't even have the stream up. And it gets into a mess. So then it's you're going to say, well, you got to mandate streaming for sub-state contests. And it gets into a mess. So I understand the 73% of you, we want instant replay review at postseason games in South Dakota. 27% of you say, no, you don't need it, just use it at state. The 27% are going to win. I don't know if they voted for that, just being realist. I'm just telling you, as much as we think we can do it, and look, we found it. By the way, Matt Kearney's the one who got this up there pretty good. He slowed it down. He put it up on Twitter. It really showed that. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy at that time, but the officials at that school and the whole thing, can you go and review it? And you're going to see how long it takes, and do you have the right stream? I think it gets too cumbersome. And you know what South Dakota high school ADs don't want in schools? Is another thing, another game day thing to worry about. I don't think they're going to get it done. So my deal is this. They'll react to it. They'll discuss it. They'll throw it out to the ADs come up maybe at the spring meeting. Hey, what do you guys think of instant replay? This Ipswich-Gettysburg game went the other way when it shouldn't have, and the shot shouldn't have counted, they're going to say, well, yeah, how are we going to do this? I don't think they're going to do it. That's my take. But would you want it? A lot of people saying yes. Let's see. Lister text coming in. As far as that high school game goes, I know there's nothing in the bylaws or whatever, but I think they should just flip a coin to see who the winner is, at least give both teams an equal chance, and not go by the call, which was wrong. Oh, boy, then you're going to really tick people off. Hey, we're not sure if we got that right or wrong. Flip a coin. Hey, Ipswich, you lose. Sorry. Let's see. Lister text. Do replay in just the last 3 seconds of the game. Do replay, so make it easy in the last 3 seconds of the game. Let's see. Lister text. We need instant replay for postseason basketball. Sometimes there's 3 media outlets streaming a game. Lots of footage to use to review calls. There's some games have a lot of footage. And then there's going to be, small towns, small schools. I don't think all these guys have great streaming. I know not every school even has streaming, so then you even have to cross that bridge. So you got to get to that bridge first. Keep those coming in. Heavy support for instant replay on this show for using it in sub-state postseason basketball to not have a situation play out like the Ipswich game. Well, let's see what happens. Does Ipswich win tonight? Do they win tonight? The Sodak 16 in Class B boys basketball. 73% of you want to use replay. I'm telling you, it's fine. I'm telling you, I think it's dead. I hate throwing a wet blanket on instant replay already, but I think it's dead. Hey, let's get to this really quick. Okay, let's get to this. Let's have some fun here. I woke up this morning, and I found out that North Dakota State football, this is for all you North Dakota State fans and South Dakota State fans, I found out this morning that North Dakota State football will be favored already in every game that they're going to play this upcoming season. Did you guys know that? I'm not kidding around here. People are throwing it out on tweets and all sorts of stuff. Big-time media personalities, they're throwing it out. North Dakota State will be favored in every single football game they play. And I've been on this show saying North Dakota State's going to have to get used to losing some games. Well, what gives here? Am I that far off that North Dakota State's going to be favored in every game, and I'm telling you they're going to lose some games? What's the deal? North Dakota State's like one of the only teams in the country, like with Georgia, Notre Dame. They're going to be favored in every game they play. I woke up this morning, and I wouldn't be more surprised if I woke up with my head sewn to the carpet, as you all would say, Chevy Chase. Hey, I'm telling you, let's not go crazy. Can we make sure we don't spread a bunch of stuff out there that's not accurate? What this means is there's a guy at the Action Network, that's the betting network, Colin Wilson. I've actually had him on the show quite some time ago. Colin, come on back. Colin Wilson at the Action Network put out his projections. And then I'm seeing, North Dakota State will be favored in every game that they play in the Mountain West and beyond. They're going to be favored. North Dakota State's going to go 12-0. Can you believe it? Can you believe that? No, his projections, and he's high on them. Okay, that's great. NDSU is projected, he thinks they will be favored in every one of their games. They're projected to be favored in their regular season games. This is through his power ratings, because he breaks down a bunch of numbers and, he does all the metric stuff, the analytics, he does all that stuff. So he spends a bunch of time. That's great. I'm just telling you tonight, you heard it here first. North Dakota State is projected to be favored. That doesn't mean they will be favored. If they're favored at UNLV, give me a call. If they're favored at New Mexico, give me a call. So those are two right away. I'm going to tell you, if they're favored at Hawaii pretty salty last year, you might want to give me a call. Let's not go down this road. North Dakota State jumping into the Mountain West, and I found out this morning they're going to be favored in every game that they play. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Okay? That ain't good. I'm just telling you, that's not going to happen. Okay? North Dakota State's going to get into the Mountain West. They'll be in the mix. It's not like they're going to get their doors blown off. Okay? So I'm a realist there. I am going to tell you, they will not be favored every week. Okay? Projections on March 10th, a little bit different than the game coming up at New Mexico in October. Okay? So let's not lose our minds tonight. Mike Golick Jr. is going to start us up. We'll talk NFL and more. A lot of moves. Can you believe some of these quarterbacks going to some of these teams? And you know who hasn't made his way yet? Your friend Kyler Murray. Where's he going? I wonder. Coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Save big on everything when you shop at Menards. Give your walls the most advanced protection with Pittsburgh's Paramount Interior Paint and Primer in one. It's scuff, scrub, and wear resistant, while also blocking stains and delivering true one-coat coverage. Choose from thousands of color options and refresh your space for spring. View our entire selection of paint and accessories today on Menards.com. Plus, check out the weekly flyer to find great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
The following radio ad is Good Fun Squad approved.
Hello, I'm Gerald and I'm a South Dakota lottery accountant. I've been asked to remind you that lottery games should be played only for fun. Set a budget and ask for help if you need it, because too much fun is not good fun. I believe I was asked to read this ad because I wear a suit and do math for a living, so people think I'm not fun. But just last weekend, I installed a software upgrade without reading the terms or conditions. So there. Please play responsibly and learn more at keepthefungood.com.
Introducing the $25,000 mortgage match from Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. We're paying off one lucky Clubhouse member's mortgage up to $25,000 just for playing with us. Earn free daily entries by using your Clubhouse card when you play, or sign up for a free Clubhouse card today. The more you play, the more chances you have to win. Then, be here March 28th, and you could be our grand prize winner. Learn more at tinlizzy.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind watch begins at 9 a.m. Thursday and remains in effect until 9 p.m. Thursday night. Snow likely this afternoon, otherwise overcast skies. High temperatures reach up to 42. Winds out of the east, 8 to 15 miles per hour. 1 to 2 inches of snow tonight with another dusting Thursday night. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 30.
If you're not at Murphy's this St. Patty's weekend, you're doing it wrong. No one does St. Patrick's Day weekend like Murphy's. Doors open at 7 a.m. with a themed St. Patty's menu, green beer flowing, and all your favorite St. Patty's shots ready to go. At noon, the 4th annual Leprechaun explodes with the legendary Running of the Gingers with huge prizes on the line. Live music all day long. Tanner Johns, Kevin Brott, Bijou Bell and the Rathco capping it off with Flannel throwing down the ultimate 90s party at 9 p.m. This is where you want to be on St. Patrick's Day weekend. Murphy's, a Rapid City icon.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger? Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
All right, welcome back in. Your Sports, Your Show. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. Just having some fun tonight so far, are we? We're talking about the biggest topics in South Dakota sports. Instant replay at sub-state varsity basketball. Would you want instant replay review not just at state tournaments, but at sub-state postseason contests? Somebody said that they now film movies on iPhones these days. I mean, if you can film a movie on an iPhone, you have plenty of footage in the stands of the end of a game. So what are we going to do? We're going to go ask Jimmy Lipper in the stands for his phone now? Hey, Jimmy, did you get footage of that shot there? No, but Larry does. He's right over here. Oh, okay. Good stuff. Mike Golick Jr. is on tonight, South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. His show is Golick and Golick on FanDuel, and he's in on the Nate Brown Show. Mike, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Nate? Good,
man. Appreciate the time as always. I want to hit some ball with you tonight and just get your read on some of these moves in the NFL. I'm gonna ask you your thoughts on quarterback movement when you're talking Malik Willis to the Dolphins and him getting, not huge payday, but rather significant. What do you say about a move like that?
I think it's a move that's designed to serve two masters for the Miami Dolphins who, listen, coming off the Mike McDaniel era and the Tua Tagovailoa partnership that they had where Mike was there to try and revive their former first-round pick in Tua and was moderately successful in that, but between injury and poor performance, everybody ends up losing their jobs, is serve as potentially their bridge. You mentioned the price tag. It's not totally handicapping or prohibitive going forward. We see quarterbacks, the high-end ones in the NFL now, cost in the area of $50+ million a year, and so this checks in far south of that for far shorter amount of time. But it also provides you the ability and the option that, with upside, and we know Malik Willis right now, the bet is still on upside for a guy that it didn't work out in Tennessee. He went to a much healthier organization and offense in Green Bay, and in a limited sample size, but I would still say substantial enough to prompt some intrigue, went out and showed you some pretty incredible ability and maturation for a young quarterback who was all ability coming out of college at Liberty to now a guy that seems to have a better grasp of the position at this level. And so there's a chance that you could buy low, and if he goes out there this season where your roster is not fully yet in a place where I think overall it's designed to be high-end competitive, especially with the Patriots and the Bills in the division, but if he can go out and show you enough, well, maybe you just went out there and did strike gold on a guy who, like we've seen from some other veteran quarterbacks, and he's on the lower end of veteran, but guys where the context matters, and if they can go through and learn more about the craft at other spots, maybe can be a successful quarterback at this level. So I think it allows them to thread the needle on that pretty well, all things considered.
Is it just me, Mike? Is it just me, or I just can't get excited about Malik Willis to the Dolphins, Tua to the Falcons, Geno Smith to the Jets? I just can't if I'm fans of those teams.
So I would agree for two of those, right? If you're the Atlanta Falcons and Tua Tagovailoa, yeah, I have no reason to be excited. It's no disrespect to Tua, but that's a quarterback that ability-wise has always felt like he's had somewhat of a ceiling and been dependent on the scheme that he's in. And then you throw the injury stuff in on top of that to go alongside a first-round pick of the former regime who has injury issues of his own in Michael Penix Jr. And Geno Smith, listen, that's, that's the Jets, I think, recognizing the opportunity to quietly be bad in a way that, in the NFL it's really hard to tank, but you can aim the arrow downwards, and it certainly seems like the Jets are probably in that mode right now after an abysmal first year with Aaron Glenn. The Dolphins one, I do think there's more there to get excited about than meets the eye, and I know personally watched Malik Willis last year and watched him really in the last two seasons moonlighting for Jordan Love. I do think there's a lot to get excited about in the prospect of a backfield that can make use of his legs, Devon Achan's legs. You've got Aaron Brewer up front who came along really well at center for you last year. And I think there's some bones here to some things that could at least be entertaining for a team and a franchise that I think felt like they had stalled out in the last couple of years. But, yeah, the rest of the quarterback market sans maybe if Kyler Murray signs with Minnesota, really doesn't have a lot of interesting to it.
I'm going to ask you about that one. If you're Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings, you have to get Kyler Murray tomorrow. How high are you on that?
Yeah, no, especially at the price. And I think that is a huge part of the Tua and Kyler Murray conversation is, you've got these other organizations footing the bill. So if you can get them in the door, playing for the minimum, and if you're Minnesota, getting you a lifeline I think you desperately need after what the early returns on the J.J. McCarthy experience have been, then yeah, I think you have to take that chance. Kyler Murray, not perfect by any means, or else he'd still be the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals and life would be good out there. But I do think in terms of someone who showed enough to earn a second contract at this level, and I still believe no matter what that he did earn that contract, and also feels like he's got ability and would be walking into the healthiest environment he's ever been in terms of being coached by a guy like Kevin O'Connell in an offense like the one Minnesota has. I think that's the marriage you're looking for.
Okay, do you think Kyler Murray could take the Vikings to another level? Could he have a resurgence there with talent around him?
Yes, and it's a situation where if he doesn't, then Kyler Murray's probably beyond saving. Because I think we looked at the Minnesota Vikings as this really quarterback-solvent place. And part of this was, Kevin O'Connell, the work that he did when he first got there. Obviously, the Sam Darnold season became his masterpiece, right? Taking a guy in Sam Darnold, everyone else had left for dead but a few truthers, and going and getting a team to 14 wins with him at the helm. Obviously, the final boss of that graduates from him and goes to Seattle this year. But I think all of that has rightly given us a lot of confidence in Kevin O'Connell to get the best out of guys at that position. It's why so many people were scared off by what they saw from J.J. McCarthy, saying, all right, if that offense can't onboard him quickly, then my God, what are we going to do? How can you hold on to him for all that long when the expectations are what they are in Minnesota? So, yes, I think if there is still great football to be had in Kyler Murray, then Kevin O'Connell is still the guy, despite last year, I would trust to get it out of him.
Mike Golic Jr., our guest on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Follow him at Mike Golic Jr. on X. His show's on FanDuel, Golic and Golic. How important is a great running back now? The Chiefs are going to pay Kenneth Walker.
Well, I think they're important, especially in the context of what your offense needs. And I saw Mina Kimes post this over the last 3 years. The Chiefs are 31st out of 32 teams in the NFL in explosive run rate, runs over 10 or more yards. Kenneth Walker, was, I believe, second or third best in the NFL in percentage of runs that went for over 10 yards last year. So you need guys at that position that can make plays, and he's a guy that can come in and hit home runs for you. We know that offense is undergoing a bit of a change right now, but when you look at the importance that position had and the needs that weren't being met there, it's a good place to go out and do that. Running back, we have all this conversation about value, but the percentage of the cap you're taking up by paying a running back a modest payday like Kenneth Walker got is still nothing astronomical in the grand scheme of things compared to some of the other premium positions, like edge rusher, like tackle, like wide receiver and quarterback. And so going and getting a guy like that there, and then I think having the potential to, at 9, you're probably going defense, but in the rest of the draft, wide receiver, I think, should still be on the table and how this team forecasts its future, because I don't think that room's complete by any means. But I think having a place to consistently go, especially for Kansas City in the under-center run game that needs to become a much steadier part of their diet, I think is definitely helped by adding a guy like Ken Walker, who is explosive.
Let me get a couple of college questions in, Mike. So last week, Louisville released a letter from their AD, Chancellor, Board of Trustees, saying they're losing money, quite a bit of it every year. We have to make a change if we're going to be able to stay in this college sports game. It's got to be even across the board. Do you buy into that from Louisville, a program that's pretty big time, losing a bunch of money?
Yeah, I mean, that's for smarter people than me. What I'd say is college football and college athletics in general have always found a way to cry poor, even when we knew that wasn't the case, because it's a different model, right? These are institutions that are technically non-for-profit institutions, so for a long time, they weren't turning one. They used that as an excuse when we knew it was a little bit of funny math that got to that. So I don't want to totally discount it because we know the price tag's gone up now that you've got to share some of that money with players, but in general, I think that they would find a way through it, but there does underscore the desire that, like, you do need some uniformity in this. I'm as pro player as it gets. I'm all for these guys making a ton of money, and I don't want to put too many arbitrary caps on it. But that being said, I just think you kind of need to have everyone understand, all right, here's the way we're all going to do these certain things. Allow there to be some stability in those processes, not an off-season we're waiting to find out what court ruling is going to change what rule in a way that prompts a bunch of different strategies to have to pop up now. We need more reps in the version of this world that we have right now, because as we've seen from college football and college athletics at large, from the College Sports Commission that was supposed to be in charge of the rules and is now coming out and saying, yeah, we were wholly unprepared for the volume, the sheer tonnage of these deals that were going to come through. That's kind of the story of all this, is the people that are supposed to be in charge seem wholly unprepared and unable to govern the sport that they're supposed to be in charge of.
So it's interesting. If you look at a spending cap, Mike, like that's what Louisville said. We got to have a cap on NIL and for each team to follow. Yet there's never a talk about cap on coaching, salaries, things like that. How do you thread that needle?
Yeah, that's why I think that's kind of ridiculous. Like, again, if you want to create true structured contracts, all the things that, like you and I have talked about before, come with collective bargaining that means the athletes get a voice in the process that, surprise, surprise, weren't given a voice in that whole little roundtable they had on Capitol Hill, where not a single current athlete was invited to share their perspective on a process that they're pretty important to. I would say that always misses the mark for me, because, again, these schools have the ability to go out here and spend what they want. Now, the rev share gives them the opportunity to spread X amount of dollars across their sport, but we see in college football rosters reportedly nearing $40 million. That's a choice you make to go out there and be competitive. And if these schools decide we can't do that, well, they can make the choice to spend less on coaches, to spend less on players, and take the result that comes for that, much the same way that we see in Major League Baseball. Now, that sport might be heading towards some tough conversations about that in December, but they famously operated without a salary cap in that sport for quite some time now. And, part of that's the structure of that sport, the randomness that's built into the model, but it seems to have been plenty successful without it. So the people treat the cap as a get-out-of-jail-free card, but I never think it's that simple.
Hey, your Notre Dame Fighting Irish projected to be favored in all of their games in 2026. Are you buying that?
Yeah, this is a team that should be in the national championship conversation all year long. They're capable of winning it, and if you're talking about the expectation for them this year, that's it. It's win the first national championship since 1988. You've got the quarterback to do it. You've got a roster that returns a ton of talent and added a bunch of premier talent, and really, for the first time in my lifetime, added young talent in the transfer portal. Notre Dame and the academic standards have often meant you're only getting graduate transfers there. Now you see a couple of undergraduate transfers taken at premium positions. You see it's all in right now. And so you couple that with a schedule where the defined big games on there, and the rest of it we've heard talked about plenty is not the schedule strength that we're typically used to in South Bend. And so all that means is you've got an opportunity, the same way Michigan, who scheduled nothing and nobody out of conference before their national championship year, and others have done in the past, to go take advantage of that with a team that is absolutely talented enough to do it.
Mike Golic Jr. popping in, getting us started tonight on the drive home. He's on Golic and Golic FanDuel. Mike Golic Jr. on X. I always appreciate it, Mike. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nate. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. Mike Golic Jr. in on Fox Sports Radio tonight from Golic and Golic on FanDuel Sports Network and college football analyst. Good stuff across the NFL and college football, talking some ball with Mike Golic Jr. tonight. So he's a little high on Malik Willis to the Dolphins. He is high on Kyler Murray to the Vikings. Who else is high on that? Anybody know? Have you guys been wondering? Have you been listening the past 3 weeks? I've said it. I'm going to keep saying it. Get the deal done. I can't wait. Kyler Murray and the Vikings going to the playoffs. Ready to roll in the NFC North. Just make it happen. Mike Golic Jr., I'm all in the Kyler Murray sweepstakes. Coach AJ is coming up. South Dakota State women's basketball continues to be the program. Going back to the NCAA tournament, there were some bumps along the way. We'll talk to Coach AJ from Brookings coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Upgrade early and save more with Renewal by Andersen. March into savings when you buy one window or door and get the second 40% off. With no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months, you can upgrade your home to energy-efficient Acclaim replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. And the best part is you pay nothing until 2027. Your first spring upgrade starts here, so don't wait. Call today or visit RVARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live across the state on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Welcome in on Fox Sports Rapid City, the Nate Brown Show live. We'll talk to Thor Nystrom from the Twin Cities tonight. Vikings on the clock. They're going to pick up a QB. Are they going to pick up Kyler Murray? Thor Nystrom, his read. He's been a big J.J. McCarthy guy. He's with Score North, covers the Vikings live from Minneapolis. Thor Nystrom on tap tonight. Well, they're Summit League champions again. It is the program now, right? Yeah, they've been rolling 4 straight titles now, Summit League. 13th appearance in the NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament. South Dakota State beats North Dakota State at the Summit League on Sunday. Their head coach, Aaron Johnston, back on the Nate Brown Show tonight across the state. Coach, good to get you on. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
I appreciate your time talking hoops, and you've done it again. Easy question. Does this ever get harder?
Yes, I thought you were going to ask if it ever gets old, because that's what a lot of people ask. When you've won it a lot, it's like, does it get to be ho-hum? And that answer is no. But it's good. I like that. Does it get to be harder? I guess that answer I would say is yes. I think every year when you're trying to do something over and over and over again, just is a little bit more weight, a little more expectation that sometimes you carry. But that's not a complaint. That's a great thing. That's a sign of a program that's in a good place, having a lot of success. And we feel good about that. But, yeah, I think it's a touch harder, but no, it never gets old.
How did you keep this program at this level? I've talked to you before about the transfer portal and places like South Dakota State. You can lose great players, and you have, but how have you kept a lot of great ones and continue to find freshmen, continue to find these players that play at a high level?
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. We're so fortunate that we have a senior class of Ellie Kolbeck and Brooklyn Meyer and Maddie Mathewitz who have stuck and decided to stay at SDSU and make this their home. All three are phenomenal leaders, phenomenal people. The way Maddie played her senior year was as good as any guard in our conference. I think what Ellie did in rising to an occasion in the Summer League Championship tournament and doing what she did to get some big baskets when we needed it is kind of a senior thought and a senior moment there. And then you have someone like Brooklyn who's just she's just a transformational player. She just is one of those players that is so dominant and so good that, you're lucky to have her for 1 year, let alone 4 years. And Brooklyn could play not only at any school in our conference, she could play anywhere in the country and be a really good player. So, we had the right mix of senior leadership who all played at a high level, but then you have that one kind of elite player that just makes everybody else better. Brooklyn was the best player in our league, I think, by a long stretch, her last 3 years with us. And that's not an awards thing. I'm just saying when you look at impact in winning, impact in our program, impact in the Summit League, there's nobody that's elevated our program in the league like Brooklyn has for as long as she has. That's pretty remarkable.
Coach AJ on tonight, South Dakota State head women's basketball coach, Jackrabbit women, 27-6. 4 straight Summit League titles, 13th NCAA appearance now. They're going to the tournament waiting to see their seed and who they're going to face. They just beat NDSU by 13. I want to go back to some of these games, Coach. So you lost a couple of times here, NDSU once, USD, and then it felt like maybe you turned a little bit of a corner, but maybe that's not right. You take me inside the team. What'd you learn in a stretch? And then maybe the last 3 weeks, it seemed like you were a little bit different and you beat NDSU twice.
Yeah, I would agree. Our year was a kind of an evolving year. We actually played great basketball in November and December. Our non-conference strength of schedule right now is still like in the top 15 in the country. So it is one of the toughest non-conference schedules that you can put together. And we went 10-4. Like, we beat a lot of NCAA tournament teams. And it kind of flew under the radar just because that's what we've done in the past, and it's almost kind of expected. But we played really good basketball and high level. Then we got into January, came back from Christmas, and we just didn't quite have the same edge that we did early. And I don't have a reason why. There wasn't something that came up. It just wasn't quite clicking. We almost relaxed a little bit going into our Summit League. I think a little bit of maybe the weight of so many consecutive wins in a row, too, also kind of just weighs on you a little bit. But we didn't play great. And to USD's credit and North Dakota State's credit, they played very well in those games, certainly deserved to beat us. They were better offensively and defensively than we were. We didn't play at a level that was our best. And after those games, we just continued to work. It didn't become about revenge. It didn't come about just that. It became about, hey, we can be better, and here's what it takes for us to be better. These are the habits we have to have. Let's commit to these things. And then as we started to play better, we really gained a lot of momentum. In early February, by the time we got to that last week, we really knew we had some big games. We had to go 2 Oral Roberts, 2 Denver, then 2 NDSU. We got all of those taken care of. The game at home against USD was senior night, so a lot of emotion, a lot of energy. We just played at an incredibly high level that last stretch, and then that fed into the Summit League tournament. So not soul searching. I think that's too much. I think that's a little extreme. But just maybe a good reminder on what it takes to be a champion, what it takes to have that kind of effort every day. What are the habits that have to show up? And I'm just a big believer in that, and I think our team really responded well to it.
I want to ask you about your recruiting over the years. So I've put your program at a national level. You don't just go to 13 NCAA tournaments, and you guys have had success. I mean, it's just a national level now. Does recruiting get easier? Has it evolved for you over the years where the program has gone? Because you're in that discussion now, I would think.
Yeah, we've had really good players. Like our success, when you look at it, we've had 3 people basically drafted in the WNBA, going back to Megan Vogel, Macy Miller, Maya Sellen had those chances. Brooklyn's going to be looked at that level. So we're recruiting elite players. It's not like we're finding a bunch of young people that nobody knows about, and these have a lot of options out of high school. So we've been able to attract some of the area's best. We've been lucky that a lot of the area's best want to stay close to home. We have some really good young players now. Brooklyn Felkley was good. Abby Hazelton, I know, got hurt, but she's going to be a good player. And then you watch Hadley Toole down in the conference tournament, and you start to see her potential. She's got player of the year potential in our league. And so, no, I don't think it's gotten harder. I don't think it's gotten easier. I do think we have a good track record. People understand that you come here, you're going to be treated well. People are going to care about you. You look at the fan support at the arena over the weekend. I mean, there's no women's fan base anywhere close to what we have here at SDSU, the facilities. So there's just a really good story to tell. And then I think we just find people who are really committed to wanting to be great. You know, they're great students, they're great teammates, they're just great in our community. Just kind of finding that right fit. But lucky, really lucky that we have a great story to tell, and we've got great, things to offer in this kind of SDSU experience.
Aaron Johnston's on tonight, South Dakota State head women's basketball coach. What another run. Summit League title, 4 straight now. So I look at it and I say, hey, that environment, you just talked about it, 7,900 fans at the Summit League Championship Sunday. And then people talk about that. Wait, the Jackrabbits have a home court advantage. What's your reaction to the home crowd and that support?
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. You could easily say that is a 90% Jackrabbit fan base. There's no doubt about it. I wouldn't try and hide and deny that. I would say if other fan bases, aren't willing to make a drive a couple of hours or an hour to support their teams, that's not a concern of the Summit League. We have a fan base. They're willing to travel. They're willing to be there. We have a lot of teams in our league that need to keep working on their own fan base, let alone figuring out how to get them to the Summit League tournament. So for me, I'm just I'm over it. It's a great thing. I think our fans should be celebrated. They shouldn't be made to feel like they're doing anything wrong. They're doing everything right and supporting not only our team, but they make up the majority of the fans for most of the games we're not playing at. They show up for all the sessions. So we're really lucky to have them here at SDSU. I think the Summit League has absolutely benefited from SDSU fans and what they've done for that entire environment. And I'm proud of them. I just really appreciate them showing up and supporting all the teams, especially our team, the way they do.
Big-time atmosphere with the fans at the Denny on Sunday. Coach, I'll let you run. What's your feeling about a seed here? How does that look?
We were just talking about this with Macy Miller on staff. We had almost the identical record her senior year when we went to the Sweet 16, and we were a 6th seed. This is how much things have changed in the NCAA tournament and how much parity's come along. Last year, we probably had a better record and resume. We got in as a 10 seed. So, it's hard to know. You have to look at it and think probably in that 10 range again, but obviously that could slide a little bit. But it's funny how 5-6 years, how things have changed with what that tournament is looking for and how they bring teams in. So we've got a really good team. Brooklyn is one of those players that can make a lot of good things happen. We'll find out Sunday night, and we'll get ourselves ready to go.
Jackrabbits getting ready to watch them again. South Dakota State's at the top again with Aaron Johnston at the helm. The women 27-6 Summit League champions and going to the dance again for the 13th time in program history. Coach, good to have you. Good luck to you. We'll talk to you again. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Aaron Johnston on, Coach AJ from South Dakota State, head women's basketball coach. What a program. What a program. And support. I mean, that's up there with anybody. You're talking 7,900 fans coming out watching that. So that's big time, guys. It really is. Coach AJ and South Dakota State women lose a couple of times in conference to USD, to NDSU, and then just bounce back and playing their best in the Summit League tournament. Brooklyn Meyer averaging over 20 a game, 70% from the floor in conference play. I mean, that's just wild. We'll watch him. He thinks maybe a 10 in the NCAA tournament. We'll find out this weekend. The Nate Brown Show on tonight. Good stuff ahead. Let's look at this World Baseball Classic. Why would I do that tonight? Why would I do that? World Baseball Classic? It's off your radar, right? I think this was a bad look last night. I'll get into it.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
It seems like the cost of everything is going up, so it's nice to save a little dough when you can, especially for something you love to eat every day. Before I go grocery shopping, I print out a coupon for $1 off any Country Hearth, Village Hearth, or Artisan Hearth bread product. My favorite is Dakota Style 12 grain. My wife's breakfast go-to is a toasted Village Hearth English muffin. We can save $1 on each. Go to countryhearthbreads.com/coupons and print 1 or 2 out before your next shopping trip. And don't forget, Country Hearth, Village Hearth, and Artisan Hearth bread products are baked locally and delivered fresh daily.
Mom, can we please go to Waitiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Waitiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Waitiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WaitikiWaterPark.com.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind watch begins at 9 a.m. Thursday and remains in effect until 9 p.m. Thursday night. Cloudy tonight with snow likely. Lows around 20, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for snow tomorrow, highs around 45. 1 to 2 inches of snow tonight with another dusting Thursday night. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 29.
Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone. It's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
Get ready for an unforgettable night of magic and laughter at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort with David Anthony's Evening of Magic and Hypnosis. Join us April 11th for a high-energy show packed with jaw-dropping illusions and hilarious interactive hypnosis that puts audience volunteers in the spotlight. Doors open at 5:30 with showtime from 6 to 7:30. It's fast-paced fun and full of surprises. You won't want to miss it. Visit CadillacJacksGaming.com to get your tickets today and see how your night plays out.
As a rancher in western South Dakota, you know the meaning of hard work. From working cattle to working in the field, you know that the job begins before dawn and can last into the night. You also know that at the end of the day, it's more than just work. It's a way of life. When it comes to banking, you need a bank that values your time and is committed to your growth. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is live tonight here on Fox Sports Radio. Thanks for making this show possible. Hope you're having a good Tuesday, everybody. South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Maroon 5 live. I saw them live. I don't know about you. I mean, it's good stuff. Good show. Good show in Las Vegas. I'll take it. 605-720-1067 is our number. It's the Barron's Wilson text line for you to answer the question of the day. A lot of people discussing this instant replay discussion that is going to happen with the Activities Association here in South Dakota after this Ipswich-Gettysburg game went down to the final second. Ipswich got a last-second shot. They won to go to the Sodak 16, but the shot shouldn't have counted. Upon further review, it was not got off in time, and we don't have instant replay review. It's sub-state contest. Do you think we should? The Activities Association says they're going to discuss it with the schools. I think it's going to go nowhere. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's just going to keep it at the state tournaments, I think. Because my point is, it's not that I don't want it, guys, but it's too difficult. Every school, every stream, instant replay review. I don't think you're going to be able to get administrative support across South Dakota to have instant replay now for sub-state postseason basketball at every school that's doing this stuff. So what do you think, though? A lot of texts coming in. Let's read a few on the Nate Brown Show. Listener text, you can't just focus on the last 2 minutes of a high school basketball game. What happened in the previous 30 minutes? Missed calls or fouls during the game? ? Plus, all we hear is from high schools, they don't have money to fund sports activities, but somehow we can get cameras now and streams. All right. That's interesting. Let's see. Listener text. Wait. This is from the guy who said to get the iPhones in the stands. Everybody, he said, confiscate everybody's phone at the buzzer just in case you need to do a review. All right. That's not going to work. Here's one. This is an idea. Send a fourth official to run the replay for the sub-state contest. Pay the official the same as the other 3 refs on the court. Provide the same replay camera for all games. Schools have to pay. Well, that's probably the problem. I'm just telling you, I don't think the schools are going to go for it. So the Activities Association is going to discuss it after this Ipswich-Gettysburg scenario. I don't think it's going to go very far. I just don't. You tell me what you think. Could instant replay be reviewed? Could we have it for sub-state contests? South Dakota High School basketball, 605-720-1067 on the Nate Brown Show. Hey, let's go to a deal here at the World Baseball Classic. So I don't know if this was a weird thing yesterday. So the USA was playing Mexico, and Cal Raleigh's the USA catcher. Cal Raleigh, great player for the Mariners. Randy Arozarena is playing for Mexico, and they're teammates at the Mariners. Okay, so I'm setting the scene for you. I don't know how much World Baseball Classic you're watching. I've been watching some highlights. I haven't been watching a bunch of the games, but I've been catching up on this, making sure the USA plays again today, and they're trying to get to the quarterfinals. That's kind of where we're at. So what happened here between Cal Raleigh? He's the catcher for the USA. Randy Arozarena, teammates with the Mariners now. He's coming up to bat. Randy Arozarena stuck out his hand to shake Cal Raleigh's hand when he was coming up to bat in the batter's box. And Cal Raleigh just looked up at him, didn't shake the hand. He didn't shake the hand. So we got controversy. I'm trying to find out where you sports fans are at. What is professional in the world of sports? These guys are teammates at the Mariners. They're not teammates yesterday. Mexico against the USA, not teammates. I guess Randy Arozarena, I don't know if he was kidding around or not, but he kind of went off after the game. I can't repeat the stuff he said here on the show. I mean, he went off on Cal Raleigh that he can do this and he can do that. Yeah, I won't say we get in trouble. So he went off, and then people are, the manager of the Mariners got brought into this. Are you going to talk to these guys? And now Cal Raleigh had to do a deal today saying that he reached out to Randy Arozarena and the manager of the Mariners and says, there's no beef. There's no beef. Like I said, when we're back in Seattle, he's my brother. I said, when we're back in Seattle, he's my brother. Well, hang on a second, Cal. I'm just going to tell you how we do this here. When your teammate puts out his hand to shake hands, he's not taunting, he's not doing any of that. Puts out his hand to shake hands, you shake the hand. I don't care if you're competing. This is baseball. It's a gentleman's game, right? You got to be a pro. So if I'm Cal Raleigh, that's a bad look yesterday. That's a bad look. Teammates in the Mariners coming up to shake your hand. Cal Raleigh disses him, whatever he said, good to see you. And he didn't shake his hand. Bad look. Whenever somebody reaches out to shake your hand, you got to shake their hands. I know people can say, oh, it's competitive. Oh, they're not teammates. It's USA versus Mexico. They're not teammates. They're teammates in the Mariners. It's a World Baseball Classic. You act like a pro. You shake the hand. Cal Raleigh in the wrong without a doubt. You shake the hand. We got guys that are swapping jerseys, for God's sakes. In the NBA and in the NFL, we're all buddy-buddy. We battle and we swap jerseys. And Cal can't even shake his hand of his teammate with the Seattle Mariners. Bad look. And I'm sure, it's like, Cal, do you get it? And then he had to do a whole thing today. Oh, no, everything's good. I love Randy. Oh, no, we're brothers, man. When we're in Seattle, we're good. It's a bad look. Didn't look good from Cal Raleigh last night. Listener text coming in on the World Baseball Classic. Skubal withdrawing and not pitching anymore shows what Major League Baseball and the owners could care less about winning. Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, the guys, they're just going to do what they do. I mean, they're not going to throw guys out there anymore. The teams they don't care about winning, meaning the Major League Baseball teams. The USA guys probably do. They're not going to run guys into the ground, so to speak. They're not trying to win this thing. It's overall not great. It's like Cal Raleigh's trying to make this into a big thing. I'm not going to shake your hands. Then we don't have our best pitcher out there. He's going to pitch once, and he's done. So it's just a bizarre scenario. Cal Raleigh, not great. Looked odd to me. Coming right back into the Nate Brown Show, the second hour, I've got a big question for high school basketball tournaments. Sioux Falls isn't hosting a state tournament for the first time in like a long time. First time in a long time. Is Sioux Falls going to prioritize state basketball tournaments? Do you think they should prioritize hosting state basketball tournaments, Sioux Falls? Because they're going to get back to it next year. But then there's discussion down the road that, there's not so sure they're going to be hosting state tournaments. Do you think Sioux Falls should host state basketball? Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Upgrade early and save more with Renewal by Andersen. March into savings when you buy one window or door and get the second 40% off. With no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months, you can upgrade your home to energy-efficient Acclaim replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. And the best part is you pay nothing until 2027. Your first spring upgrade starts here, so don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Lifetime warranty for most vehicles.
Fantastic. And if people need financing, can you help there?
Yes, we can. We offer the AutoPass card, an interest-free card for 6 months on every repair over $199, which saves a lot of people who need immediate help with repairs. Get an answer in minutes from our homepage at AnytimeAnytime.com. Just click the AutoPass Apply Now button.
Take advantage of that card, people. See AnytimeAnytime.com. And, of course, at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Well, welcome in. Second hour ready to go tonight. We have a great guest lineup the second hour. Thanks for being here. The Nate Brown Show is live. Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here. If you can't catch all of the show, the Nate Brown Show podcast is available. Every guest, every show right there. We had Coach AJ tonight from South Dakota State, that women's basketball program. Just the program in the Summit League. 4 straight Summit League titles, 13th appearance in the NCAA women's basketball tournament. Good discussion with Coach AJ tonight. Mike Golick Jr. talking ball. Always great. A lot of moves in the NFL. Mike Golick Jr. was on tonight in the first hour. Second hour looks great. Thor Nystrom's coming up from Minneapolis. He covers the Vikings for Score North. He's a big J.J. McCarthy fan. Is he in trouble? Is Thor going to go with the Kyler Murray sweepstakes like me? Thor Nystrom's coming up. Vikings coverage from Score North. We'll go to the Stevens program. AA girls basketball tournament starts on Thursday at the Monument in Rapid City. Rapid City Stevens head coach Adam Dannenbring on a good season that they've had for the Raiders. They've been in the 13 straight now AA girls basketball state tournaments for Rapid City Stevens. Coach Dannenbring's coming up. The Nate Brown Show powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union, my bank. It's been that way for a long time now because that's the best bank I've had when it comes to rates on vehicles. I have that. If you've done business loans, personal loans, that's the place. Black Hills Federal Credit Union, so convenient with 18 locations across the state from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls. They've got you covered. BHFCU.com. From personal to business banking, get a bank that works for you. I'm telling you this, it's the right choice for us. BHFCU.com. Become a member and experience all the benefits at Black Hills Federal Credit Union. Again, start there. BHFCU.com. Make the switch. It'll be worth it. 605-720-1067 is our number. You want to be a part of the program. I invite you in, as always, on a Tuesday night. 605-720-1067. That is the Pizza Ranch Studio hotline, and it is the Barron's Wilson text line. If you can't call, you can text the show. So here's the... I don't know. This is a bigger discussion this year than in the past, but it's always brought up. So when it comes to state basketball tournaments, what's the biggest? Well, one of the big things that people argue about is when tournaments are in Rapid City and everybody in the Sioux Falls Metro, all the schools are from the Sioux Falls Metro. So this has been thrown around a lot because some of the West River teams haven't made it consistently at the state AA. I'm talking AA now. Let's get dialed in. Okay, I'm not talking A, stuff like that. I'm talking AA. When the state tournament is in Rapid City, I do hear Sioux Falls and the East River folks. What do you guys say? Why do we have state tournament all the way out in Rapid City? And it's just little comments I hear from the media. Here's the little comments. Here's what they say. It's passive-aggressive. It's, well, the teams have to drive 4.5 hours. Yeah, we got to go all the way out to Rapid City to play basketball. And it's just little comments like that. And so what they're saying is Rapid City hosting the AA state tournament. They have the girls this week. They have the boys next week. Well, what's the deal with that? And I just want to make sure everybody understands that Sioux Falls has missed the opportunity to host the state tournament this year because they've already had the Denny and the facilities booked. We're talking D2 wrestling championships this weekend. We're talking Stampede hockey next weekend. And when you talk to folks around the Sioux Falls Metro and kind of the approach on state basketball tournaments, there's some people that have thrown it out there. They've said this. I don't know. I think Sioux Falls might be too busy for the state basketball tournaments now. We're already too busy. Maybe we should look at Vermilion, right? USD's facility. Maybe go up to Brookings. Some of the state tournaments have been there. Could that be in the future where AA state basketball goes to someplace like that? I'm just telling you this. Sioux Falls, should they prioritize hosting a state basketball tournament, because it seems as though that's getting lower on the priority list? And is that important for the community? Maybe it's the business folks, the Chamber of Commerce. I've heard people discuss that, right? How important is it for Sioux Falls to have state basketball? Well, in one instance, I keep hearing, well, maybe it's not that important. And then in the other instance, I hear the argument, well, what? Yeah, I mean, we should have state basketball, not Rapid City, because then all the teams are from, like the AA boys next week. 6 out of the 8 teams are Metro. So it is 6 out of the 8 teams. And so then people say, well, why do they have to go to Rapid? Well, here's the thing. It's not having to go to Rapid. Rapid City, great destination. Rapid City, great facility. Rapid City, great hotels. I mean, so it's all checks the boxes. It checks all the boxes. Well, then the fans don't show up. Well, it's not a Rapid City problem. That goes to the Summit League argument. It's like everybody complains about SDSU having the home court advantage. Well, it's not an SDSU problem. That's an NDSU problem, or whoever that don't travel to the tournament. I've always said that if Sioux Falls Metro team fans don't make the trip to Rapid, that's not a Rapid City problem. That's not an Activities Association problem. That's just the fans watching it on TV and just kind of, yeah, I'm good. So you got to check the boxes. Big enough? Facility. Is it top tier? Hotels. Destination. Do you want to host it? Yes. So everybody's behind it. Rapid City is everybody's behind it. You don't hear complaints of, they don't do a good tournament and they don't handle this and they don't do that. It's all top tier. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I've covered high school basketball 26 years. And I like tournaments in Sioux Falls. Can I say that? Is that okay? I like tournaments in Sioux Falls. My answer tonight to my question, yes, Sioux Falls should prioritize hosting state basketball. I think it's more than beer sales at a hockey game. I'm sorry to tell you. I think state basketball should be Sioux Falls, Rapid City, and the other smaller communities. It's fine with those other tournaments. That's great. It's really easy. You just go back and forth between Rapid City and Sioux Falls for AA, A. You just go back and forth, and that's the play. Good destinations, great facilities. They know how to run a tournament, hotels. It's all great because nobody's asked the players. So the players next week, do they not want to come to Rapid? Do they don't like hanging with their buddies, going out to eat, going to the hotel, having the tournament experience? Well, I liked that when I was a kid. So I liked going to destination tournaments. Did you? So everybody complained, well, 6 out of the 8 teams of the boys tournament next week's from the Metro. They got to go all the way to Rapid. I bet you they love it. And they also say, hey, wouldn't mind staying in Sioux Falls because if Rapid City makes it, some of the Rapid City schools are West River teams, I don't think they mind going to Sioux Falls sometimes. So it's really not that hard. It's like, oh, why didn't Sioux Falls get the tournament? I don't know if they want the tournament anymore. They should have the tournaments about South Dakota high school basketball, putting the kids in great position at great venues and making it a great experience. And Sioux Falls needs to be on the list. And Rapid City needs to be on the list. So I don't know if Sioux Falls is going to take themselves out of this. They're going to get the tournament back next year. But people have been throwing it around. Well, it might not, I don't know, it might not stay in Sioux Falls. Don't go down the road of, yeah, I think Sioux Falls is a little too busy for high school state basketball. It makes it sound like, we're kind of too good for that. It's not too good for the kid. I think the schools, the fans, the kids, they should be able to go to Sioux Falls and experience a great state basketball tournament. They've done a great job of it over the years. Sioux Falls and Rapid City need to have state basketball. I really believe that. I hope Sioux Falls makes that a point. I hope the community says, we got to get back on this. We've always had state basketball, and now we haven't had it for the first time in many, many, many years. You got to get back on this. That's my question of the day. You tell me as I go to break, if you would, text in 605-720-1067. Would you like to see Sioux Falls prioritize hosting state basketball? Yes, it's a great destination and venue. No, you don't care if they do. I do. I think it's a great thing to rotate the tournaments from Rapid City and Sioux Falls. I do, if I'm being fair and honest. Would you like to see Sioux Falls prioritize hosting state basketball moving forward? Yes, great destination and venue, or no, you don't care if they do. A lot of votes coming in so far. 57% of the audience on Twitter says yes, you'd like Sioux Falls to have a state basketball tournament. Prioritize it. 43% of you say, no, you don't care if they do or not. Those votes coming in, I'm looking at them all from Rapid City. No. We don't know where they're coming in. 233 votes on this so far. 57% want Sioux Falls to prioritize state basketball hosting. 43% don't give a rip if Sioux Falls hosts or not. Coming right back, Thor Nystrom talking Vikings. Is he going to get down this road with Kyler Murray like me? Coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people get into all kinds of vehicles with loans as unique as them. Trucks, cars, SUVs, we finance them all with local service and rates starting as low as 4.99% APR. That's right, 4.99%. Keep your loan local and find the one that fits you at bhfcu.com. Apply today online or text 605-718-1818 to get started. Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member owned and insured by NCUA.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
If you want the peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True. And you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind watch begins at 9 a.m. Thursday and remains in effect until 9 p.m. Thursday night. Cloudy tonight with snow likely. Lows around 20, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for snow tomorrow, highs around 45. 1 to 2 inches of snow tonight with another dusting Thursday night. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 28.
Luck runs deep at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort, where you could win a share of $86,000 in cash and prizes. Every Friday and Saturday night from 8 p.m. till midnight, Cadillac Jack's will have drawings twice per hour, with cash and prizes growing all night long. Starting at $300 and building up to 3 chances to win $1,000 between 11 p.m. and midnight. Big wins every weekend. No waiting for one grand prize night. See how far your luck can take you at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort. How will your night play out?
Who is it?
You're Prince Charming.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I've been calling to you, Rapunzel. Rapunzel, let down your golden hair for days.
I didn't hear you. The witch got the tower new replacement windows from Renewal by Andersen.
Didn't you wonder where I was?
Not really. My new windows are very energy efficient, keeping my tower very comfortable, and they have greatly reduced the noise levels.
What noise? You live in a forest.
Well, a certain needy prince is constantly yelling my name.
Do you not love me anymore?
Oh, quit being so dramatic. By Andersen exclusively offers gorgeous ensemble security doors, safe and durable.
Do they?
You should get them for the castle along with new Acclaim replacement windows.
If I do, will you marry me?
Let's not rush it. And Prince Charming, get the windows for you, not me.
Oh, wait. Windows. For me?
Does your castle need new windows? Discover Acclaim windows and ensemble entry doors, custom fit and exclusive to Renewal by Andersen. Free consultations. Visit RBARapidCity.com.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
It is The Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Radio. KWSN Sioux Falls, we're live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here. The Nate Brown Show. Official outfitter is Trav's Outfitter. When it comes to working, man, you need the right pair of boots. I'm telling you, this is the place in Rapid City. They're on Campbell Street, brand new store. Have you checked it out? Trav's Outfitter. You don't leave wondering if you made the right choice on boots. They know boots. If you're on your feet all day, fit matters. Trav's Outfitter, experts in work and Western footwear. Get in, take a look. Best selection, best service, no BS at Trav's Outfitter. Campbell Street, Rapid City. Online, check them out. TravsOutfitter.com. Family-owned, South Dakota, independent retailer. Proud of that. Kind of place you go back to when it's time for your next pair. If you work for a living, get into Trav's Outfitter. Thor Nystrom's on tonight from the Twin Cities. Score North. Vikings coverage with Thor. Guys at Score North, they do a great job. Find them on X at ThorKU. Thor, welcome in, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing good, buddy. Here we go. We got a lot to discuss, and I want your read. I've talked to you over the years. You've been a J.J. McCarthy guy. You've been there and trying to say, hey, we got to take a look at this guy, and things haven't gone how what was planned with the injuries and the whole thing. Well, now the Vikings are looking at other guys. You tell me where you're at on what the Vikings should do at QB.
If it was me at this point, I would go with Kirk Cousins if that was an option on the table. That hasn't been discussed as much recently. You know, like in terms of the national media, a lot of the attention there is sort of triangulated on Kyler Murray and justifiably so. But I know the Vikings are interested in Cousins as well. And it's another situation where he's going to be released tomorrow. Open up the ability to communicate directly there. So, will Kirk Cousins, is he going to play next year? Does he want to go into TV right away? And then obviously, from the Vikings perspective, is it going to be Kyler Murray? So we're probably going to get answers, hopefully, to some of this tomorrow. Although the Murray camp, it seems like they said that there was reporting that they're going to meet with a bunch of teams, and the signing could take a little bit longer maybe than people think. So it's going to be interesting to monitor here.
how appealing are the Vikings if you're Kyler Murray, Thor? Go in his shoes. How appealing are the Vikings?
For a guy like that, you're young enough where you're using this season where the Cardinals are going to be paying most of the salary because of the guarantees. There's offset language, so that you get to basically the money's no issue in this case. I guess that's the good thing. So you're just trying to pick the best, one-off, one-year scenario to rebuild your market value, and it would certainly make sense from his perspective. The Vikings, a team he was also a childhood fan of, so that certainly doesn't hurt. They have the best receiver on earth in Justin Jefferson, and there's been success with that offense in the past. That stuff makes sense. It's the highest upside place for him. I think it's also one of the highest risk places. It's the one where you have to, you're going to have a camp competition against the top 10 quarterback taken a couple years ago. And it's not the cleanest scheme fit. Kyler Murray is a guy who needs to play out a shotgun. He likes the field spread. The Vikings just lost their wide receiver 3. You would presumably have to take a wide receiver 3 pretty early in the draft, going with more heavy wide receiver 3 sets. They don't have someone that can do that right now. Kyler Murray struggled throwing downfield. He's someone that scrambles around. Obviously, he needs different vantage points. He needs to manufacture throwing windows because of that stature, and because of that, it's hard for him to play on time. So it's a lot. There's a lot of playground elements and out on the high wire ad-libbing type stuff with Kyler Murray, which I don't know if that is the cleanest fit for Kevin O'Connell, who wants you to follow his script in the pocket as well. So it's for both sides. I think high risk. High reward, that kind of thing, and we'll just see what the Vikings end up deciding.
Thor Nystrom on tonight's Score North is the team, covers the Vikings and more here on the Nate Brown Show. So I'm going to ask you, if Kyler Murray comes in, let's say tomorrow, I don't know, let's say the Vikings make the move, let's say he does it, I would think that they've told Kyler he's the guy because he's not going to go to some team and lose out. Is that wrong of me to think that?
It's interesting, right? Because if I was Kyler, you just put yourself in that situation where there's going to be multiple teams where it's just obvious you are the quarterback the second the ink hits the paper there. So you would think that, I would need that assurance from the Vikings as well, or as close to it as I could get. It's the explicit reason why Daniel Jones last year left the Vikings on the altar with a contract that they thought he was going to sign, and instead there was the 11th hour switch to the Colts, which he thought he was going to have a better shot to start there, and an offense that was tailored around him. And it turns out he was right about that. So, and we just don't know yet. Tom Pelissero had reported recently that whatever quarterback signs with the Vikings, it will be a camp competition. Even if that is Kyler Murray, that is going to be a camp competition. So that's something on Kyler's end. He and his camp are going to have to decide, what confidence do you have in that? Are you willing to accept the risk of that? Because for you to win that competition, which everyone just assumes, but the guy making that decision, Kevin O'Connell, he's the judge of that competition. He would explicitly be pulling the plug on the top 10 quarterback that he handpicked and then developed from 2 years ago.
Yeah, and that's my question, Thor. Do you think the Vikings don't want to give up on J.J. McCarthy yet? What do you think is the real deal there?
Well, yeah, the interesting part of it is if I was the Vikings and you really, you're hell-bent on signing a guy like Kyler Murray and, you want to get JJ out or whatever, you want to have a new guy to start, you would think that the Vikings would have done, Nate, I'll bring you back in Kyler Murray's career. Remember when he came into the NFL, drafted by the Arizona Cardinals? They had just hired Cliff Kingsbury. The Arizona Cardinals had taken a quarterback in the first round, I believe the top 10 the year before, in Josh Rosen, right? And they as quickly as they could, it ended up being, I think, the April draft over that weekend, when they took Kyler and then they got a trade for Rosen. You would think that the Vikings, that would be of interest to them, because if you start Kyler in year 3 of JJ, and then JJ, let's say he even, a couple starts because Kyler gets injured. But, now coming out of that season, he has 12 career starts. Well, you need to decide on the 5th-year option after the 3rd season. You have to do it in May of that year, right after the draft. I think it's May 1st. How are you going to make an informed decision on the 5th-year option if you've only seen J.J. McCarthy start 12 games in the NFL. And if you put yourself into a situation where you can't make an informed decision, you're basically saying you're going to elect no in that choice in advance, right? So the asset has lost value to you because then it becomes, instead of this like box of unopened potential, it becomes 2 years of a QB2, presumably, at whatever salary that is, a fairly healthy contract salary for a QB2. So if I was the Vikings and I was going to sign Kyler Murray, I might consider shopping McCarthy, but I have gotten absolutely no indications that the Vikings would do that they would listen on trade talks for JJ. I haven't heard anything like that. So it's just another interesting element of this.
What would you want to do, Thor Nystrom? I think you want to give J.J. McCarthy a real run here, no injuries, hopefully, and you want to give J.J. another run this year. Is that what I'm hearing?
100%. Yeah, I don't know why you're going to pull the plug on it when you have 2 years left of that rookie deal, and then you have the option to potentially get a third one, especially in lieu of the specter of the 2027 quarterback class that we have right in front of us. What's the worst case scenario if you start McCarthy next year? That he falls on his face and he proves that he's not the future? Well, great. You've raced your way up the standings of the 2027 NFL draft, where you have Arch Manning, Julian Sand, Dante Moore, Lenora Sellers, Sam Levitt. I could go on and on. So that's what I would do. The insurance for me would be Kirk Cousins, guy that knows the system. He's going to run the concepts. A guy that might want to have a 1 year in between before he goes to TV. A guy that cares what people think about him, but he's not owned by any fan base because he's always been viewed as a mercenary. Could come back, have the 1 year feel good reunion with Minnesota, and then go off to TV. And a guy where it's worthy competition for McCarthy, but it's not nullifying. And have the camp competition. If McCarthy cannot beat out Kirk Cousins at this point, that's enough information, I think, for you.
Okay.
Right? But it's at least a worthy competitor where it's not you're signing Carson Wentz 5 days before the season starts off the streets for the veteran minimum, where there's literally no competition. So that's what I would do. I'd see how it goes in 2026. I would keep that lottery ticket on McCarthy's upside. I think it's quite high. So that's what I would do, because if McCarthy, obviously, he shows up, he's good next year, you've solved your quarterback issue right there.
Okay, so if my Kevin O'Connell argument is, if J.J. McCarthy falls flat and falls on his face, and I'm Kevin O'Connell and I didn't go and get Kyler Murray, then I might be out the door. I think he's got to be thinking about that.
He definitely does, but so that is a risk, absolutely. But is it not an enormous risk, the signing of Kyler Murray, to pull the plug on your hand-picked top 10 quarterback and then get this guy who is not a good scheme fit for you when your strength is the offensive play caller? Now you're going to sort of hand your offense over to an off-script, up on the high wire type quarterback and just hope for the best? Hope isn't really a plan, and this is not what they were building towards, trying to have a one-off season with a bad schematic fit at quarterback. I think that's risky too, because if you pull the plug on McCarthy at that point, and then that bad scheme fit, you can't figure it out, and all of a sudden the offense is just bad again, now you're just out. Right? I mean, I don't think there's going to be any argument to save you from any corner. So this thing's risky either way that you look at it. A lot of factors there. In a lot of ways, I'm envious that I do not have to make that decision. There's a lot of people whose careers, their jobs are on the line right now, making this thing through. So, yeah, I'm not envious of that, but it's going to be fascinating to see what they decide. And I can tell you, it's not unanimous inside the building. And a lot of times that's sort of framed as, oh, there's disagreements. No. If you have so many employees inside an NFL building and so many people in a front office, it would be hard to get 20, 30 people on the same page of what you want to order for dinner tonight. You're naturally going to have people that have different opinions. That there's valid reasoning for both sides of this thing, for whoever you could end up pursuing, and the long-term ramifications for JJ and all that different stuff. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to monitor this thing through.
Kyler Murray gets released tomorrow. Stay tuned to the guys at Score North. Thor Nystrom's in tonight on the Nate Brown Show. Quick one. What's your honest percentage chance that the Vikings do go with Kyler Murray? What percent?
I think I think I will put it right now. I'd probably put it at 60%. I don't think it's the done deal that some people have depicted. I'm Cousins. I think that thing needs to be seen through what his status is as well. I would lean that way, but yeah, I don't think that this is a fixed outcome like some do.
Thor, good to have you, man. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you, Nate.
See you. Thor Nystrom. Find him at Score North. Covers the Vikings here on the Nate Brown Show live from Minneapolis. Thor wants to give JJ another run. He's been on the JJ McCarthy bandwagon. I want to go with Kyler Murray very quickly. Very quickly. And then we'll have some fun. Okay? Then we'll be bringing it. So Kyler Murray gets released tomorrow. Will we have some big news in Vikings country? I hope so. And by the way, the percentage chance the Vikings are going to get Kyler Murray, 100. The percentage chance the Vikings will get Kyler Murray, I don't know about tomorrow, but whenever, this week maybe, 100. Okay? Adam Dannon brings next. Rapid City Stevens back in the state girls tournament, 13 straight years. Can they pull off the big upsets? Brandon Valley's the team. O'Gorman's the team. They got to start with Aberdeen Central Thursday. Coach Dannenbring on the way.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Upgrade early and save more with Renewal by Andersen. March into savings when you buy one window or door and get the second 40% off. With no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months, you can upgrade your home to energy-efficient Acclaim replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. And the best part is you pay nothing until 2027. Your first spring upgrade starts here, so don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
All right, welcome back in the Nate Brown Show. Glad you're here. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. Thanks for making the show possible, covering South Dakota sports across the board, from high school to college to the pros. Tonight, head coach AJ on, South Dakota State women's basketball head coach. 4 straight Summit League titles for the Jackrabbit women. 13th appearance in the NCAA tournament. We talked to Coach AJ about his program and how he continues to do it at a high level. Aaron Johnston joined us tonight from Brookings. Mike Golick Jr. in talking ball tonight. College football analyst, national host of Golick and Golick on FanDuel. Good stuff. Hit the Nate Brown Show podcast if you miss any parts of the program. We've been talking a lot of high school. It's that time of year. State basketball. AA girls tournament starting Thursday at the Monument in Rapid City. Rapid City Stevens back there, 13 straight state appearances. Wow. Head coach for the Stevens girls is Adam Dannenbring. Coach, welcome back on. How are you?
I am good. Thank you very much. I do want to give a shout-out to Coach AJ. When I was a young coach in Canton, South Dakota, I would go up and I'd work his summer camps to invite, some of the high school coaches from around the area to come up and work at, the summer camp and his elite camp. And I got to, just picking up different things. So, a couple drills here and there. Just watching him be able to work with young kids. He's a great coach. It's always good to learn from great coaches.
I think that guy's run an unbelievable program. As you know, we've watched him take South Dakota State to another level. I got to ask you about the state tournament. It seems like it's just a regular occurrence, so everybody thinks, well, it must be easy. Stevens girls, they've just been good for a long time. What has that taken?
It's taken a whole lot of effort from a whole lot of people. That's for sure. When I took over the girls program, it was already excellent. But there's 3 different coaches, or maybe even 4 different coaches, I think, that had taken it to 8 years in a row, and then now it's been. I've been blessed when I took it over. We had really good athletes, and we had good athletes coming, and I've just tried not to mess it up. And so far, so good.
State tournament starts Thursday. I look at your team. I think people look at you guys and say, Stevens can make some noise. They can be in a lot of games. How do you feel you've stacked up in AA with 16-4 record?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a very good regular season. We had a good SODAC game. We'll take our chances. We're going to go out there and battle. We might not have a girl that makes All-State, but we have 7 or 8 really good players that are just solid, that do things well, and we work really well as a team. And it's really tough to beat a team that works really hard and, doesn't really care who gets the credit. We just, we move the ball. We try to find the best shot. We're very unselfish. It's been a good team to coach that way basketball-wise.
Stevens girls basketball in the AA state tournament. They'll play Aberdeen Central in the second game Thursday at the Monument. Head coach Adam Dannenbring talking hoops on tonight. I've looked at AA girls. A listener sent this in to me. He said, look at all these programs at the top. There's been the same teams in the state championships over the last 5 years. You guys have been in there a couple of times. Washington, Brandon Valley, O'Gorman. Why do you think it's so good at the top and then a gap there?
I think, a little bit just consistency with the programs. Obviously, we've had head coaches that have been there for a while. I think that's number one. Obviously, a lot of really good players that have bought into, playing basketball playing basketball fast. Very good coaches that are competitive, that are willing to put the time in the summer. And, I think that's the main part. And then a little bit, too, depth-wise with, just population. We're, pretty big schools. I mean, O'Gorman obviously doesn't have quite as much as far as like student body, but I mean they have kids who work really hard. So I think those are some of the reasons why.
I'll ask you about this matchup. It's Aberdeen Central. You played them all the way back in December. They beat you out there by 12. So you get a rematch here. What'd you learn that first go around?
We learned that they're very large and they're very good at rebounding. We didn't make a lot of shots on that Saturday, and they did a great job of just, if they missed a shot, they pursued it, and they got a ton of offensive rebounds against us and a ton of second looks. We need to make sure that we're rebounding to make sure that they just don't get a whole ton of second chances against us. I mean, that's really the key. They're very, very solid. Their post play is pretty great. Like they have two girls that most teams around the state don't have a 6-footer or a 6'2" girl, and they've got two of them. So, and they're both great athletes, which makes it just that much tougher.
What's your message to the team coach when it's state tournament time? You've had some teams that have played at a high level at state. You guys have had success at state, usually on that first day, but if not, Stevens has come back through on the backside and done well. So what's your message to the team at state? Is it any different? How have you gotten them to play well? It's just an opportunity. That's what I want to make sure that they realize it's an opportunity, and it's, once they get out there and they go through the starting lineups, though, it's just another game. It's like we're playing on a little bit bigger floor. It's going to be a tough game. Things aren't going to be easy, but we get the chance to go out there and compete. You get to play the game that you love to play. You get to do it in front of a whole lot of people, and you got to enjoy that for sure. And I think that's something that we've got a little bit more experience maybe than some of the other teams. And Aberdeen, none of the girls on their team have played in a state tournament, and we have a little bit more experience that way. But you just never know until you throw the ball up and you see how it goes. The team you have. Is there anything that teams are going to face you? Aberdeen's going to face you. They know you're going to be pressing them. You're going to be running and jumping. It just seems like that's the team you have. That's the style you want to play with.
Yep. That's we do hang our hat on trying to play really sound defense. But you just never know. State tournament, you might have to switch things up. So depending on foul trouble, depending on matchups, you just got to do whatever you think is best to try to give your team the best chance to win. And we're willing to do that. I'm not stuck necessarily to one style. We just try to fit whatever the best style for our team to be successful. We're going to try to do that. Adam
Dannenbring, Rapid City Stephen head girls basketball coach. You got a nice senior class. What's your thoughts about this senior class going into their final run?
Yeah, same as what I had said before. I mean, just a really unselfish group of girls. Between Finley Love, Hallie Peterson, Jessica Griswold, Mackenzie Schreiber, Hayden Thornton, they're just wanting to win. And they move the ball, and each of them has their things that they're maybe a little bit better at than the other, but they work well as a team, and they work well together. They just want what's best for us as a team, and that's great to be able to coach.
Stevens trying to make a run here. Brandon Valley, O'Gorman, 1 and 2. Stevens coming in second game Thursday, trying to take down Aberdeen Central to get into Friday night. Head coach Adam Dannenbring, another nice season, coach. Good to have you. We'll see you on Thursday. Thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you very much. Go Raiders.
Appreciate it. Adam Dannenbring on tonight talking Stevens girls basketball. 13 straight state tournament appearances for Stevens. They've been in the mix and been in that state championship a couple of times over the past 6 years. Stevens takes on Aberdeen Central Thursday afternoon. We'll be there live. Is it okay to take kids out of school for that? Am I going to be getting in trouble? Anyway, I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to do that, so don't get me in trouble. It's time to watch some state hoops on Thursday. Coming right back with who's hot and who's not on the way.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Inheritance, romance, and investment scams continue to plague South Dakotans with high dollar amount losses. They prey on vulnerable adults and swindle consumers out of their funds. Scammers befriend the victim, making it difficult for them to see the reality of what's happening. If you have a loved one susceptible to this type of scam, sit down and talk with them about these issues before it happens to them. If you or a loved one have been scammed in this manner, please reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
Spring is in the air at Spearfish GMC Cadillac, and that means lot-wide deals on our entire lineup of locally sourced pre-owned vehicles. Choose from all makes and models, trucks, cars, SUVs, and certified pre-owned, all priced below market for unbeatable value. Whether you're trading in or trading up, now's the time to save big at Spearfish Motors. Visit us today or browse our inventory anytime at spearfishmotors.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind watch begins at 9 a.m. Thursday and remains in effect until 9 p.m. Thursday night. Cloudy tonight with snow likely. Lows around 20. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for snow tomorrow. Highs around 45. 1 to 2 inches of snow tonight with another dusting Thursday night. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 28.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Introducing the $25,000 mortgage match from Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. We're paying off one lucky Clubhouse member's mortgage up to $25,000 just for playing with us. Earn free daily entries by using your Clubhouse card when you play, or sign up for a free Clubhouse card today. The more you play, the more chances you have to win. Then, be here March 28th, and you could be our grand prize winner. Learn more at tinlizzy.com.
Ever since Barron's Wilson Funeral Home first opened their doors in Rapid City 140 years ago, they have continued to make personal service their number one priority. In your time of grief, they offer a personal touch by being at your side through every step of the funeral process. They answer difficult questions and guide you toward other professional services you may need. See for yourself the wide variety of services they can provide for you by visiting their website at barronswilson.com.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. You got a listener text saying, and they used to take off school for state tournament games. He said he went to high school and they used to take off school for state tournament games. They don't do that anymore. That's because most of the kids just head home and play video games. They don't go to the actual games to watch. All right. The Nate Brown Show live. Who's hot and who's not? Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Locations at Brandon and East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Stop by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. It's outstanding. Pizza Ranch Who's Hot category going to former Rapid City Stevens star player Jada McNabb. Jada McNabb plays for Air Force. She's in the Mountain West Conference Championship game tonight. And hang on, they're taking on Colorado State. That features O'Gorman's Hannah Ronsick and Aberdeen Roncalli's Madeline Bragg. You got 3 South Dakota High School girls basketball alums taking on the Mountain West Conference Championship tonight. Air Force against Colorado State. That's big time. I'm pulling for Jada McNabb. Great player. Great player. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, well, we have a sighting. Paxton Lynch, former Broncos quarterback and John Elway draft pick. Thanks, Lord Elway, for that one. Paxton Lynch is back in football. I'm sorry. Paxton Lynch, there's video out today of a quarterback scramble. He's playing in the National Arena League down in Colorado for the Colorado Spartans. Can you imagine? From the Broncos to the Colorado Spartans? I'm sorry. Paxton Lynch still playing. That is something, huh? Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. We're back tomorrow with a big show. The podcast going up right now.
Mom, can we please go to Watiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Watiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding?